The Great Storm and the Town's Struggle. Life in the small coastal town of Harrowbay had always been peaceful. People knew one another, children played in the streets, and fishermen went to sea every morning. However, one September morning, the radio announced that a violent storm was on its way. The storm was predicted to be the strongest in 50 years, and the citizens would have to hunker down and prepare themselves. Many were frightened, but they also felt that their community spirit would pave the way for survival. At first, some citizens did not believe the warning. They thought that storms usually fizzle out before reaching Harrowbay. Whereas past storms had indeed weakened, this one showed no signs of slowing. Thus, the mayor held an urgent meeting and asked everyone to collect supplies. Families began to root around their homes for flashlights, blankets, and canned food. Children watched their parents pore over instruction booklets about emergency safety. It was a stressful time, yet also a time that imbued people with determination. The authorities tried to push quick decisions. They wanted to ram through emergency rules, such as moving animals to safer barns and closing schools. Some residents were frustrated, feeling that their freedom was being hemmed in. Nevertheless, they understood that rules could save lives. The situation emboldened local leaders, who were imbued with a sense of responsibility. Meanwhile, the fishermen had to fend for themselves. Their boats were at risk of being destroyed, and they could not simply leave them. They tried to tie the boats more tightly, though they knew the sea could not easily be controlled. One old sailor told the young men to man up and act with courage, even when their fear grew stronger. His words seemed to egg on the community, reminding them that bravery was necessary. As the sky darkened, a sequence of small events prepared everyone for the big disaster. The wind first shook the windows slightly, then more violently. The waves grew higher, and animals began to panic. Some houses lost power earlier than expected. People had to fall away from their daily routines and focus entirely on survival. The calm atmosphere of the town started to dwindle away, replaced by a growing sense of alarm. During the height of a storm, the townspeople truly had to grapple with nature's force. They heard trees cracking, roofs breaking, and glass shattering. The emergency volunteers tried to fend off falling branches and debris. Parents tried to protect children who had been lulled into a false sense of calm earlier in the day. The storm did not simply pass over them, it stayed, raged, and tested every bit of strength they had. Some families managed to get behind their leaders' decisions, offering help to neighbors. Others chose to give over to despair, feeling that nothing could save them. In the middle of the night, a group of young men decided to help rescue a family trapped in a collapsed barn. They had to follow through with their plan, even when the storm threatened to stop them. Their courage inspired the rest of the town. By morning, the storm began to fizzle out. The rain weakened, the wind slowed, and the sun finally broke through the clouds. Nevertheless, Harrowbay looked destroyed. Some houses had completely fallen away, roads were blocked, and the electricity network had been cut. The once lively marketplace had dwindled away into a field of broken wood and glass. The aftermath was even harder in some ways. Families had to fend for themselves without power, food, or clean water. They rooted around the ruins of their homes, searching for anything useful. The mayor reminded everyone not to lose hope, and he asked them to get behind the rebuilding efforts. His speeches seemed to embolden the townspeople with courage once more. Yet, difficulties continued. Volunteers had to grapple with the fact that not every house could be repaired quickly. The government attempted to ram through new construction laws, which many citizens did not like. They felt that their voices were being ignored and that the rules tried to hem them in. Nevertheless, most realized that rebuilding could not happen otherwise. The laws would pave the way for a safer town in the future. In this challenging period, people sometimes wanted to give over to hopelessness. But the memory of survival made them strong. When one man suggested giving up on farming and moving away, his neighbors managed to squelch up that idea. They argued that leaving would be a mistake. They were also careful to shun out anyone who tried to profit unfairly from the disaster, such as traders who raised food prices. The teachers in the town also played a big role. They wanted to help the children understand what had happened. In classrooms, students would pore over maps of a storm's path, learning about weather systems. Teachers tried to imbue them with hope and scientific curiosity, explaining that knowledge could protect them in the future. Some children were still scared, but gradually their fear began to dwindle away. In the months that followed, Harrowbay slowly returned to life. Gardens started to grow again, the market reopened, and fishermen repaired their boats. The memory of the storm would never fall away, but people chose to rejoice in their survival. They were proud that, despite everything, they had managed to fend off disaster and rebuild. The story of Harrowbay teaches us important lessons. Whereas nature is stronger than humans, unity and courage can make survival possible. Hence, disasters can imbue a society with resilience, even when conditions are severe. People must sometimes man up, sometimes follow through, and sometimes shun out negative influences. The path is never easy, but it is always meaningful. The community also learned that not every idea works. Some plans simply fizzle out, some hopes are squelched up, and some traditions are passed over. Nevertheless, in the sequence of events that build a society, both failure and success are necessary. Minor mistakes may occur, slight misunderstandings may happen, but the greater spirit must remain. In the end, Harrowbay did not just survive, it grew stronger. Families could once again rejoice in the morning sun, fishermen could once again grapple with the sea, and children could once again laugh. The storm had hemmed in their lives for a time, but the spirit of community had broken free. They had truly learned that no matter how strong the storm, people who stand together can always pave the way for a brighter tomorrow.